So my name is Hannah and our topic is Arkema and what went wrong and who is responsible. I'll start by explaining what Arkema is. Arkema is a big corporation. They have many different types of businesses, but the one our video is going to focus on is the chemical plant in Crosby, Texas. On August 29th, 2017, as Hurricane Harvey passed through many parts of southeast Texas, including Crosby, Texas, where the chemical plant happened to be, the flooding from the storm knocked out the power for the refrigeration of the plant where the different organic peroxides are manufactured. People anywhere in the area from 1.5-mile radius of this plant had to evacuate, and 3 days later the peroxides came to combustion and exploded. Some trailers were left after this explosion, but officials purposely exploded 2 days later, and the evacuation was lifted on September 4th, 2017. Next, Rachel is going to explain more of the details about the organic peroxides and what exactly happened with this explosion.
Organic peroxide is an organic, meaning carbon-containing compound having 2 oxygen atoms joined together. This grouping is called a peroxy group, and it is chemically unstable. Arkema stored a liquid form of this organic peroxide in 15,000 to 20,000 containers. Once the flooding of Hurricane Harvey started, the water knocked out the refrigeration system and backup generators. The failing system is supposed to keep the chemical lower than 30 degrees Fahrenheit. When organic peroxide starts to heat up, it begins to get unpredictable because it decomposes, giving off highly flammable vapors. The burn rate is fast, ranging from 1 meter per second to 100 meters per second. As everything increases, the combustion and pressure rates increase. The reaction of organic peroxide and heat is the cause of the 2017 Arkema plant explosion. Following the Arkema disaster, residents, first responders, and the Texas government all wanted answers on what happened and who needed to be held accountable. On September 7, 2017, the first lawsuit was filed. 7 plaintiffs, all first responders to the Arkema plant, sued Arkema for the circumstances that led to the health issues that followed them after the incident. The lawsuit alleges that at least some of that buildup was avoidable, especially after seeing the flooding Houston received in the prior 3 years. According to the plaintiffs, Arkema never heeded the warnings and ignored the foreseeable consequences of failing to prepare. The plaintiffs alleged that first responders were required to secure the perimeter and wait for the inevitable explosions that would come. The fumes immediately sickened police officers and sickened emergency medical personnel who were called to tend to them and left several individuals hospitalized. Further, the suits claims that those responders have been put in the position because of the misrepresentations of Arkema executives, who have to this day maintained that the substances leaking into the air and exploding were not toxic. Arkema legally doesn't have to disclose the chemicals they stored or the quantities in which they were stored. It has provided only the names of the chemicals on its website the month before Harvey. In the years since, several lawsuits have been made by hundreds of plaintiffs, most of which are residents seeking compensation for health care expenses and damage to homes while the residents were evacuated, as well as punitive damages. They argue residents living more than 6 miles from the Arkema facility were exposed to toxins and that the evacuation zone was not large enough to protect the public.